Hi, my name is Utokia Langley and I am a licensed real estate agent in Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. There are two things that I really love, cooking and real estate. So today I am going to share with you a recipe for seafood bites. It is an incredibly delicious appetizer. You will impress all of your friends, all of your family, and it just melts in your mouth. I can't wait. Let's go do it. The ingredients for these tasty seafood bites are 1 1/2 cup of mayo, and I use Helman's mayonnaise. We have 2 cups of chopped shrimp, and basically I use the medium to large shrimp. It's about 50 to 60 in this bag, and it's peeled and deveined. It's already cooked. It has the tail on, so when you clean it, you just pull the tail off, and then you just cut it up into 3. You can cut it up into 2, depends on how chunky you want the meat to be, but I cut it up into 3 pieces. You also have 3/4 cup of Parmesan shredded cheese, 3/4 cup of mozzarella shredded cheese. Again, you can use any kind of cheese that you like, whatever your taste palette enjoys. We have 1/2 cup of spring onion or green onion, and also a 12 to 16 ounce can of back fin crab meat. You don't want the shells, so you want to use back fin. And then we also have a box of pre-made phyllo dough shells. This is incredibly awesome because phyllo dough is kind of difficult to work with, and right here you'll see this is actually pre-made shells, and it's made by a company named Athens. You can find it in the freezer section. Maybe in your area it might be called something different, but it's wonderful because they're pre-made. You just put your magic in and let magic happen. So for seasoning, we have granulated salt. We have sea salt, and if you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I love sea salt and I love granulated garlic. And then we also have some Old-Bay seasoning, and we're going to be using just 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. And then the last thing I have on my table here is just some Pam, because you're going to need to spray your baking sheet so that your dough doesn't stick to the pan. And then lastly, we have a few strips of bacon that basically I've just cooked up. I let the grease drain, and then over here I basically have chopped it up really fine because that's going to be our topper on our seafood bites when they come out the oven, nice piping hot and creamy, and we're just going to top it with that crunch, and it's just going to be wonderful. So let's get started. This is a very simple recipe, and all you're basically doing is mixing everything together, and I shouldn't use the word mix, it's actually folding, because you don't want to take away from the texture, so you want to fold everything in. And I should mention also, before you get started on your folding, that you should put your oven, preheat your oven to 400 degrees, so that by the time you finish folding, it'll be nice and hot and ready to make magic. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to just dump in my shrimp, and again I just cut a medium shrimp into 3 pieces and add it up to 2 cups. We have our 3/4 cup of mozzarella cheese, shredded cheese, and we have 3/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. This is going to be so good. Ooh! I can't wait for you to try it because people are going to love it. And then we have our 1/2 cup of spring or green onion. Just dump that right on in. I have my mayonnaise, just dumping it in, Get all that good Helman's mayonnaise up in there. Okay. And then the last thing I have here is my crab meat that I'm actually going to use the spoon to get out because it's a little harder to get out of the jar here. And again, I'm just dumping all of it right on into our mixing bowl. And then we're just going to take that and we're just going to fold all of these ingredients together. Just fold it in nice and neat. You don't want to do a constant stirring. You just want to fold it in so that we keep the texture. That's very important to these seafood bites. You want to keep the texture. Okay, so now that we've folded this together, I'm going to use the seasoning, okay? Because the shrimp and the crab meat, the onions, the cheese, all of this is going to taste wonderful by itself, but there's nothing like adding some flavor. My mottos are, for my two things that I love the most, which are cooking and real estate, is with cooking, flavor comes first, and with real estate, customer service comes first. So let's go ahead and add some granulated garlic here. And this is basically just to taste, but hey, I love the flavor, so I'm heavy on the flavor. Okay, then we're going to use some of the sea salt. And then we're going to add some Old Bay seasoning. Nothing like some Old Bay to kick up seafood. Put that in there. All right. We're going to add our Worcestershire sauce. And we're just using just about 2 teaspoons, so not a lot of the Worcestershire. Okay, then we're going to, so now that I have all my ingredients folded in, I'm going to take my phyllo shells that are pre-made into these beautiful little shells. See that? Isn't that pretty? Pretty. Okay. Really easy to use. Now I've already used my Pam on my baking sheet, okay, so that the dough doesn't stick. So I've already sprayed it and I laid my shells. So all you're going to do is just take a spoon and you're just going to fill each shell with the mixture. And this, you know, this is a lot of mixture, and there is about 15 shells to each box. And this mixture actually will make about 4 boxes of these seafood bites. So if you do not use them all in this one take, you can always freeze your mixture and just pull it out and use it for another event. And this is how your product will look right before it goes into the oven. As you can see, there are several seafood bites on the baking pan. However, I've kind of spread them out a little bit because you don't want them to necessarily touch, because it will melt, the cheese will melt down. And this looks gorgeous as is, but we're gonna go ahead and put it in the oven. I cannot wait until these babies are done. Let's put it in the oven, and we're gonna put it on our 400 degrees for 8 to 10 minutes, or again until the cheese is melted and the dough is a golden brown. And these babies are gonna just be fantastic. We're gonna top it with our bacon. I cannot wait. See you later. And here is the magic. Our seafood bites have been in the oven for about 10 minutes. The cheese is nice and melted down and nice and gooey. It smells beautiful. It is just, the aroma in here is just crazy. So the last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of our bacon bits that we cooked the bacon and then we chopped it up. And you can also do bacon bits just from the store, but I like fresh bacon. It always tastes a little bit better. So then you would just sprinkle a couple of them on top of all of your seafood bites. Okay, so let's give this a taste. It's my favorite part. Okay, ready? Let's see. Oh my God. The crab meat, the creamy texture, the bacon crunch on top. This is delicious. And this is why we call it a seafood bite. That little bite can fit into your mouth. So much flavor. Okay, well, it's time for me to go. Again, you can reach me at utokialangley@gmail.com. If you are a buyer, if you know someone who is interested in buying, if you are on the fence, if someone else is on the fence, tell them to get off and email Utokia Langley. utokialangley@gmail.com, or visit my website, www.langleyrealtysolutions.com. See you next time. Bye-bye.